Hello. How's everybody doing today? Good. Cameras on, please. All right. What is the seed to get 100% compliance with this request? What am I not doing? What am I hiding? I don't know. I'll let you know when I figure it out. All right. All right. Good evening. It is 11 p.m. in South Korea. Welcome, everybody. I will stay awake, I promise. I'm very excited for all of you who stuck around for Javier's class. He's a great teacher, and he's becoming a really good friend as well, and helping us connect with the New York Sangha as well. So let's jump in. Where were we? It was about 2 weeks ago when we were talking about this topic. I know it's hard to remember. What were we talking about? A good persist meditation, but not what we were talking about. It's so general. You could just say seeds. And everyone would be like, yeah, you're talking about seeds. For $50, what's the joke? If you get my joke, then you get $50. Nope. Sorry. Bet over. There's 5 problems to meditation. We're in the second problem of meditation. What's the second problem of meditation called? Nope. Anna's close, but that's not what it's called. Oh my God. It's like pulling teeth. Thank you, Eka. It's forgetting the instructions. Get it? That's the joke. You guys don't remember what we were talking about. Come on. Wake up. I'm the one who should be tired. Okay. All right. Anyhow, the point is we're in the section about forgetting the instructions. And what we mean by forgetting the instructions is that your teacher gives you a meditation object. You try to meditate. And you sit down and you say Om, you quiet your mind, you do your 100 breaths, you do your preliminaries, and then you're like, I'm going to focus on my teacher's eyes. And then you start thinking about hot dogs or hamburgers or veggie burgers or the stupid thing that the person said to you last night that irritated you. Or you start thinking about the problems you have today. Or you start thinking about how you're going to solve all your problems today. All very good meditations, but not the meditation you're supposed to be doing, right? And that's what we mean by forgetting the instructions. When you get a meditation object and then you try to bring it to mind, and then you're not able to stabilize it in your mind. And from years of meditating, I can say to you that it is normal, it is frustrating, and it's just how it goes. All right. Your mind will play tricks on you. Your mind will try to convince you of all the things that you shouldn't be doing except the thing that you want to be doing, which is meditating. Okay. So it's okay. And just get used to it. Get used to the habits that your mind already has. And some days you'll have amazing meditations. Like last night, the last night? It was last night. We were having some classes here. I was taking some classes. Of course, I already took, but it's nice to hear the material again. And I came back and I just was like, I sat down on the couch over here and I just went boom. And I went into a really still meditation. And I was like, and then when I started thinking about how good the meditation was, get it? That's when I'm like, all right, I'm done. Right. It lasted for a little while. And then it was like, then the mind was like, wow, that's really good, Tim. You're such a good meditator. You can't, it starts like the mind starts telling you stories, you see. So, in that way, it's like, that's what happens. Your mind then plops off the object. Like you only have a certain amount of energy or time, or I like to think of it as, yeah, just a certain amount of energy. And then your mind goes, oh, I'm done. You move off the object. Okay, that's great. And we're going to learn probably in the next term more about what to do when your mind moves off the object. We're going to get some basics in these next couple classes, but then we're going to get into what is that like? How to know what your mind is doing, how your mind is doing the in dullness, in agitation. How is it moving around? But yeah, when you have a good meditation, just freaking rejoice, right? Because unless you're really in deep retreat, they come few and far between, really. And it's normal, and not to get upset with yourselves, because that's really the main idea is if you have a steady practice, just keep on going, sit, even if your mind is going all over the place and you're forgetting what you're supposed to be doing and doing something else, like planning all of the work you have to do for ACI. Thank you, Anastasia. Thank you, Marina. But you're planning it and you're not meditating. You can become a really good planner when you're meditating. You see. So that's the whole point of this section is you get objects. And we're going to talk about today a little bit how to, stay on the object, not stay on it, but how to make sure you have the right object. And then you just, play. Like, can you play in meditation like a child plays in a sandbox, or a child has a toy that they play over and over again? If you're a parent, or if you're like Tim, and you get parents gifts like my brother, and you get those toys for your brother, well, for the kids, that literally the kid pushes the button every 5 minutes, like every 5 seconds, and it makes some stupid noise, right? And the kid's like, look, right? And hits it over and over and over again. And the kid loves it, right? The kid loves pushing the buttons. The kid loves the noise. Doesn't get tired of it. My brother hates me. My brother hates me. He's like, don't ever do that again. I'm like, don't worry. Your kid's going to get older and I'll find some other annoying presents to get him. Well, presents that will annoy you, but not the kid. Right. But think about the joy and repetition that children have when they're doing something. And meditation is really kind of like that because there's no stimulation. It's not like you're getting a dopamine hit in your Instagram, right? Oh, I got another like. I got another like. I got another like, right? Or I'm, oh, look at that video. Look at that video. And you're just like swiping, right? You know, you don't get the same kind of dopamine hit that you get in meditation. It's actually much better when you get into it, right? It's much more relaxing. It's much more focused. There's so much more going on, and you have such a higher capacity to serve others because of it. And it can get boring. And that's why you need to have a good meditation object. So you aren't bored, but have the enthusiasm of a 3-year-old who got a wonderfully fun toy from Uncle Tim. Right? Push the button, push the button, push the button. You see. All right, here we go. We left off last class. We were talking about all the different kinds of meditation, different types of meditation objects. And we left off on a section that I didn't explain that I told you I would explain this time. So here we go. Let's read it again. Anastasia, can you read this first line here? Starting with Shenyang.
Shenyang shine ki mipa la kyapadang kepadang chepadang nyomon namjong ki mipa namsu yopale.
Nice. You read it so damn fast that I wasn't able to change my I wasn't able to change the size of my mouse to follow along. Hold on.
Sorry.
That's fine. Mouse options. No, where I always forget where it is. Just want you to be able, there it is, pointer size. Okay. Now you're going to get a nice bright red mouse. All right, there you go. Now you can see it. Okay, good job. All right, so moreover, there's many types of, there's 4 types of meditation objects in general, like 4 different categories, right? Different ways of describing meditation objects. First one is called the kippa. Kippa. This is like the all-inclusive object. The kepa is the object of the master. The activities object, chepa. And the object, nungmon mong nam jung, is the object for cleaning away negative emotions. Okay. 4 types of objects. So what are they? This is where we're going to spend a little bit of time on this paragraph, so just relax. So the kyaba, the all-inclusive object, okay? And these 4 come from Jason Rendawa. And Rendawa is both a student and teacher of Jason Kappa. So we'll learn about that story another time. Okay, so the Keppa, there's 4 different types of the all-inclusive object. Why are we going through all of these? Okay. So you can make sure you find that meditation object that allows you to be like the 3-year-old kid, pushing the button, making the music over and over and over again. All right. So this all-inclusive meditation object has 4 types. The first one is our objects that are analyzed by both shamatha, by meditation, and by wisdom. that you've heard about and you want to learn more about, but you haven't experienced directly, like emptiness, for example, or dependent origination, or any of the topics of the Lam Rim. Like you may have heard about death meditation, you may have heard about renunciation, you may have heard about karma, you may have heard about all the different steps on the path. But until you've realized them directly and you haven't quite gotten there yet, you're in this first topic. And there's a billion zillion topics that you can put into this object. That's why it's called the all-inclusive meditation object. And that's the point of the Lam Rim, is that we go through each and every realization that you need from A to enlightenment, from A to Z. All right. And so what we're doing first in this course is we are learning how to meditate. We're learning all the skills of meditation. So then we can bring those skills of meditation to all of these objects of the Lam Rim. So then we can have those insights ourselves. All right. So that's the, oops, I'm sorry. That's the first of the Keba. The second one of those is called, are like objects of analysis related to emptiness directly, or like focusing directly on emptiness, excuse me. So you take your meditation, your shamatha, and your wisdom, and you focus it directly on emptiness. All right. So that's probably seeing emptiness directly, or analyzing emptiness so well that you're almost ready to see emptiness, or you're focusing on emptiness after you've seen emptiness. All right. The third object of the Kebas is we train both the wisdom which perceives how things are and which perceives all things, the She Jawas, all existing things, which would be objects after you see emptiness directly. We're getting ourselves accustomed to what we saw. So with that wisdom, we're looking at how wisdom which perceives how things are and the wisdom which perceives all things. And then the fourth object of the Kepa relate to your ability to transform all things. And we'll talk about that in another point, because nothing has any nature of its own, basically, what we're saying there. All right, 4 different types of kebas, right? Objects that you look at with shamatha and insight that you have not experienced directly. Objects that you're experiencing directly, like emptiness. Objects which train the wisdom which perceives how things are, and how that perceives all existing things themselves, and then your ability to transform all things. So, yay, that's nice. So the second object here, the object of the master, refers to developing, like mastering the fundamental spiritual topics. So we can go into different ways of dividing up reality, like the 5 heaps, the doors of sense, the categories, all the things from the Abhidharma, so that we can go deeper in our understanding. Right? All the things you need to know to be able to go deeper. The Chepas these are types of objects that you meditate on that act as antidotes to particular mental afflictions, particular negative emotions. All right. This is a fun little category. So I would write all these down if I were taking notes in this class. Okay. You know, they are antidotes to negative emotions, or these are objects that are antidotes just to someone who has a busy mind, who thinks too much. If you're an overthinker, your solution is here. All right, as an antidote to desire. All right, you need to meditate on awful things that happen to people. Sad events, horrific sufferings, bad things that happen to people are as an antidote to your ignorant desire. So that could be one meditation object. If you're having a lot of ignorant desire for things, for people, for stuff, even for yourself, self-cherishing, this could be a antidote to that. All right, an antidote to hatred. Like if you suffer from, lots of disliking people, from, hatred's a very strong word. But if you have any of those things, which we all do, meditating on any form of love, any kind of compassion, thinking of the good qualities of people, thinking of the good qualities of people that you don't like, right? Thinking of the good qualities of people you don't like is a meditation on love, because there's something about them that you do like, you see. All right, so antidote to misunderstanding in general, misunderstanding life in general. You can choose, you could meditate on the cycle of events that create pain. So like the chain of events that lead to the cycle of pain over and over again. The wheel of life, for example. It's a great way to get out of misunderstanding. Right? If you're having a difficult, if you find a lot of ignorance in you, you can just start thinking about how all the things in your life are a cycle of pain. That's a good meditation when you're having when you're obsessed about something stupid that someone said to you last night. Turn your problem into a meditation. Okay. Instead of just thinking about how irritating this person is, or something stupid they said, or something they didn't do for you, or they didn't behave the way you expected, or blah, 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 right? There's the blah, blah for the normal, day-to-day life. You can think about the chain of events that create the cycle of suffering, right? Okay, so this person was a jerk to you. Okay, that's nice. And then you start thinking about how jerky they are, right? I do this all the time. I don't know if you do, but I do, right? Can't believe that jerk. Can't believe they did that, right? And then you start making a plan of what you're going to do to that jerk. What are you going to say? Next time I see them, I'm going to say the most perfect thing, and I'm going to win. And they're going to understand how they hurt me. Am I the only one that does this? Maybe I'm not. I don't know. I hope I'm not the only one. I hope I am the only one who does this. But you see, that's like, you could turn your affliction into a meditation to remove the affliction, just by thinking about how you're replanting that seed in the circle of pain. When we talk about like the two husbands in the kitchen, like, oh, why is that person yelling at you for no reason at all? Oh, well, you yelled at the kids last week. And then you yelled back at the husband. And then the kids yelled at you last, and then Then you yell at the kids next week, and then the husband yells at you, and then you just keep going in a circle, right? Just analyzing it, even if you can't get out of it. Okay. Just the karmic analysis of the cycle will eventually ripen as the stopping of that cycle. Eventually. You know, one of the cool things we learned last night in class was sort of all of the conditions that make the human existence ripe for enlightenment in this one lifetime. And we were talking about all the different things that we have available to us that makes this particular kind of birth more powerful than other ones. And one of the things we talked about was the fact that even though in ACI 5, we talk about how karma usually doesn't ripen now, it usually ripens in the next life or the next life or the next life. Like you're kind of stuck, right? But that's not really the case. Like what's special about this life is that we can do things to make karmas ripen faster. We have the capacity to do that. We have the capacity to see the results of our actions in this very lifetime. Which is pretty damn cool, which is part of what I was meditating on last night. Right? We can see those, we can see those karmic results now. So if we can see the karmic results now, if you're meditating on some problem you have, which we all have, and you catch yourself in the meditation going off to another planet, which is what I'd like to call it. It's just like you go visit another planet and you're just like ruminating about whatever problem it is. You can use it as a Mahamudra. You could bring it back, look at your own mind, and see the cycle that you're planting just by thinking about the problem in a non-karmic way. I'll say that again because I think it's important. If you're thinking about the problem in a non-karmic way, you're replanting the problem. You should be like, oh shit. It's true. Because that's literally 99.9%. What is that? What is that soap? Ivory soap, 99.94% pure or something. I don't know. 99.99999%. And that's exactly what we're doing all day long. Right? But even if you can think for 1 second or 5 seconds, how that's planting seeds for it to reoccur, then you're putting seeds in the place that will eventually stop the cycle. You're putting seeds in the place to then ripen such that you won't have to see that again. You see? So I think that's pretty damn cool. All right. And this is why this is going to take 20 years for us to translate this. If you have pride, I'm sure none of you have any pride whatsoever. No pride. But if you happen to suffer from any pride, just saying, if you are, what is one of the antidotes to that? You can meditate on the billions of things that you don't know yet. You want to pop that pride balloon? Just start thinking about all the things you don't know yet. How does one keep the pride balloon expanding when thinking about all the things you don't know yet. I'm so awesome. I'm going to learn all those things. I'm going to do it better than everybody else. I don't know it. I'm going to do it better. What's the difference between that and being omniscient? Just your motivation. Right? The motivation of an enlightened being is to the motivation of an enlightened being is to know all existing things. Okay. But the motivation is not for themselves, it's for others. That's the difference between pride and not pride. Or the difference between Nagyal as divine pride and Nagyal as negative pride. How about that? All right. So an antidote to your pride is to be humbled by all the things that you don't know. What is one thing that you don't know? All you need to do is go out onto the street and look at someone and try to read their mind. Try to understand what's going on for them. What was their life like? What brought them to this moment? All the good and the bad. You don't know. And if you don't care, then your pride balloon will just get bigger. Right? But if you really authentically try to understand what's going on for somebody, you're going to realize you have no idea what the hell is going on for anybody. You have no idea what they see. You don't even know who they are, for that matter. All right, here's the last one. An antidote to someone who thinks too much. I'm looking at a couple of you. I'm not going to call you out by name. This list. Some of you that think too much, Tim. Yes, there's several people in this list that I do know who think too much. The antidote to thinking too much is meditating on your breath. Think about that. No, don't think about that. Bad joke. Okay. But has a calming effect. Why do we do 100 why have I been doing meditations, which is not me who did it, is my teacher who did it, 100 breaths before we actually start doing anything? Right? Here are my notes. How about this, Maria Belen? Take my notes. All right. So those are the 5 types of, these are really useful objects. And you can see there's so many different types of objects in there as well. Okay. Sorry, Angela, I don't have it in Chinese. I did not prepare my notes in Chinese, not yet. But someone else maybe can translate it for you. Persis. All right, the 4th type of meditation object, which is called the Nunmyong Namjong, objects used for cleaning away negative emotions. Means particularly different forms of deep concentration at objects within this world and objects outside of this world, which transcend it. Meaning that if you meditate so well on some of these objects, they're antidotes to negative emotions because you can't possibly have a negative emotion when you're in those deep states of meditation. Your meditation is so good that you can't possibly have any kind of negative emotion. So then you're planting seeds to not have them. Now, there's a danger about getting into some of those states, and we'll talk about it later. But mainly, if you get stuck in those states of meditation, if you've done the lion's dance meditation, you know that we don't want to get stuck in those because they're the cause. The results of those meditations are rebirths in like the form and formless realm, for example. And those and they're not very useful rebirths at all. So but those deep states can help reduce your mental afflictions because you can't have one because you're meditating. So if you have a lot of mental afflictions, good. Sit and meditate. Get good at meditation. And it'll help you get rid of them just by virtue of meditating. Okay. If you can spend 1 hour a day in deep meditation, that's 1 hour a day where you're not doing negative things to create more of it in your life. Duh. Even if you're spending 15 minutes in meditation, that's 15 minutes more than you did yesterday or the day before that, or for the most of your life. Okay. So just meditate a little bit. It'll make you feel better. Maybe not right away, but eventually it will. All right. So those are all different types of objects that you can focus on. And how do you know which one to choose? Here we go. If you were wondering what the next thing, you're like, well, how do I choose one? Which document do I want? This one. How about, are you translating, Christian? Liar. You are translating, you're not translating. You are translating. All right. You just don't have the name next to it. Okay. All right. Just kidding, you're not lying. Let's see here. How about Kristen Deming? Can you read this?
Okay.
I'm okay.
Okay. Lạc lên là rang ni gang char be wa chi la che tema drupar du mi pakama popar
Pupar.
popar chok
Go.
gom do pa la do la
Le
le jung pe mik pa jipo jang ma
Changma.
changma Jom go, das haben wir oben schon gehabt.
Oh.
Pamin pa rang ji semla jang ro
Tre.
pa jik la sem che jo.
Sem sak ge.
Sem sa ge.
Nice. Good job.
Thank you.
Hey, it's hard. You'll get it eventually. All right. let's see. So in your practice, whichever you choose, right? Whichever meditation object you choose or select, it should be one that's easy, Dewa. Okay, you should choose one that is easy to watch, not one that's difficult. All right. So what this means is you have to learn what works well for you and then what doesn't work for you. All right. And that just comes from practice. Like certain types of objects, and even on certain days, will give you different feelings. But the idea is that choose an object, stick with it for a while. And if it doesn't work, find another one. But then you got to understand that, does it not work because it's actually helping me, or is it doesn't work because my mind doesn't like it? All right. So, no. All right. Anyway, sorry. They're picking me up at 7 a.m. tomorrow. It's not very nice. It is very nice, actually. Okay, so find one that's easy for you. All right. I like this. Mapa pargom. Once you choose one, don't skip to other ones. Okay. Pa is a word for incense. All right. So as a verb, it means don't jump around, don't move around. Like the smoke on an incense stick, right? You know how the smoke kind of moves, like in the wind. Don't be like the incense smoke. Choose a meditation object that you can stick with and you can focus on. Something, this just reminds me of something that I did. I played with in retreat, right? It's like lighting an incense stick which you're not allowed to do at Diamond Mountain, but don't tell anyone. All right. And then getting so still in the room that the smoke just comes up perfectly, right? And gently, no movement, right? And that happens so still, like even stilling your breath, movement of your body will move the air in the room, which will then move the incense smoke coming up, right? But can you get so quiet and still? And how close can you get to that smoke without disturbing it? And how quiet can you get? This is what you do when you have lung in meditation. Like, can't sit in meditation, stare at the incense and see how close you can get at it, right? And then you can have some insights about maybe how the prana moves in the central channel. Anyway, but the point is, stick to one object. Don't move. Don't choose one object and then halfway through say, oh, I'm going to meditate on apples and then I'm going to meditate on oranges. Well, first of all, those are dumb objects anyway. But don't move between objects in a session, but also try to stay on this using the same object for a period of time until you get used to it. Just because you're not able to meditate on an object right now doesn't mean you won't get used to it within 2 or 3 months. Right? But choose one. How do you choose? Maybe ask your teacher. That's probably a nice way of doing it. All right. By the way, and it's not that you have to meditate on all of those 4 types of meditation objects that we just gave you. The all-inclusive, the master objects, the activities objects, and the objects that remove your mental afflictions by achieving higher states of mind, for example. You don't have to have all 4 of those objects, mikpa, that are mentioned in the scriptures. okay, are mentioned in the sutras, right? You don't need them. But you only need to choose, hold on. The tripa, the one that's suitable for you. And then put your mind on it. Semshak. Put your mind on it and just stick to it. Find an object which is good for you and then just stay there. Okay. So now you have about 1 billion different objects that you can choose from. Which one do you like? Well, talk to your teacher. I gave you a whole bunch. And if you want some advices, I can probably give you some, but mainly find one that works for you. How about Mike? Let's read this next section here. Mike, have you read any verse yet?
Yeah, the meter.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Deong Pelden Humbo.
Pawo.
Hawa.
Pawo is pawo.
Hawo.
A pawo is the word, and then you put the sa on the. Oops, hold on. You put this, like the word is pawo, which means warrior or hero, and you put the instrumental, the sa on it. So it goes pawoi.
Oh, I see. All right, Pawoi. Mikpa Chikla Tensel De. Yitki Sempa Temparja. Mikpa Mangpo Kipale. Yitni Nyomong Kipargir.
Truk pargir.
Truk Pargir.
Nice. Okay. So this is the glorious Pawo. Pawo just means warrior. It can also mean, it can be a warrior, it can be a hero. But in this case, it's referring to an Indian sage named Aryashura. How would you know that? I don't know. That's what years of study does. I did not figure it out. Geshe Michael figured it out. Okay. Which hero are we talking about? Which glorious hero are we talking about here? And then how did Geshe Michael figure out which glorious warrior it was? You're probably putting in the chat. I can't see the chat right now. Nope. He took the verse and he put it into Gopher and he searched the ACIP database. And since it's not clear who this is and where they're from, it was a much longer search. And in that search, you will find who the author was. It's probably in the Tengyur. All right. Anyway. So the glorious hero said, "Make my chikla tensul du, itki sampe ten panja." All right. Bring your thoughts, your sampas, okay? Bring your thoughts to a state of steadiness by meditating on a single object. Mikpa chik, all right? So first, bring your thoughts to a state of steadiness by meditating steadily on a single object. So we have these two tens here, all right? Ten parja, make your thoughts, sampas, steady by meditating steadily on one object, okay? And then it says, if you have too many objects, gyupale, in your mind, in your stream, in your mind stream, if you have too many mikpa mangpos in your mind stream, you will get all different kinds of negative thoughts. Trukpar, you'll have confusion, jumbled up thoughts. All right. So that's kind of interesting. If you meditate on too many objects, you will get a whole bunch of negative thoughts all jumbled up in your head. Oh, Tim, but I only have 3 meditation objects. The instructions say use 1. If you use 3, you're going to get, the seed will ripen into a whole bunch of negative things going on in your mind. We'll talk about this a little bit later. It's not quite exactly like that, but that's mainly what it is. Stick with a single meditation object. You can have shamatha on 10 different objects in a single session. That's not shamatha. We'll talk about it. All right, next, Anastasia, can you move? Oh my God, we only have 10 minutes left. Move on to this next slide.
Shesumpatal Gompe.
I'm sorry, you already read, didn't you?
Yeah, so sorry, yes.
I already made you read. I'm sorry. Let's make someone else suffer. How about Marina, excuse me. Make you suffer and read.
Geshe Gompa Kapmik Pa Chikla
Let's go back. Gompe Cub.
Gompe Kap Mikpa Chikla Shakpale Mikpa Ponami Drupte Perna Supshin Suppe Seshin Pe Pana Pana Me Mi Parvatantra.
Good. Good. You saw this as a par instead of a war. Good job. Maybe Parvatandra. Okay. All right, let's go in here. So Shesung is from the previous. It means it's kind of closing the quote from above. It's basically indicating the quote ended from above. So we're basically, because we had this verse here. By the way, this is not how the text is formatted in the on the pages, right? It's not nice like this at all. You know, it looks more like this. All right. So it's really helpful to have things like this so you can kind of look through, right, and see what's going on. But that's for another time. We make it easier for people. All right, what are we talking about here? So it's better to put your shakpa, it's better to put your mind on one meditation object when you're meditating, all right? The lay here is the comparative. It doesn't mean karma, and it doesn't mean, it's not the locative, it's the comparative here. Okay. So it's better to put your mind on one object when you're meditating, whenever you're meditating, where am I? If your mind is like the moving smoke of an incense stick onto various objects, right? So literally means that. If you change meditation objects, if you keep switching objects, mindrup, you'll never achieve, you'll never succeed anything in meditation. So dadrang means it's like that. So for example, so in between dadra and perna, we're going to get some kind of example. If you rub two sticks together to start a fire, shows subshing supa, right? When you're out in the forest, all you Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and, people who like to camp, you put the two sticks together and you're rubbing them to create the heat. If you keep changing the sticks while you're rubbing them, I'm going to rub that for 2 seconds, right? Oh, let me rub another one. Let me rub another one. If you keep changing that stick, what's going to not happen? Meben Parwa.
It will not burn.
You will not create fire. Exactly. Right? You won't create the fire. And I like this example because I think it's actually very relevant to more higher practices. You will not create the fire in your meditation if you keep changing the sticks, keep changing the objects. So there might be a little bit of tantra built in here. They don't call it me, they don't call it fire, but there might be a little bit here, possibly, right? But the idea is that you need to be able to focus on a single object and not move on to other objects. And if you keep putting the sticks, if you keep changing sticks, you will not get anywhere. Let's finish up this last section here, and then we will call it quits. How about let's have, I don't think we've ever heard from Alvetina. Alevtina? Is that how you say your name? How do you say your name? Alevtina?
Terma seshine gompana nitam setam chang chindor kap zamma tokshen tupshin parma chepar tsupatarma dar varma chedu loam dava truksop chitsam trupa te ring gyumi chopar chegyoki.
Well, there was almost nothing to correct, but I'm glad you made one little mistake at the end. Gosh. Chupar. Nice job. I don't know whose classes you're attending, but good job. Some weird seeds you have. Congratulations. And thank you for helping us with a lot of our classes now. Very much appreciate all the help that you're putting into our classes. So thank you. All right. Demase. Demase means that's not all. How do I, this is, even if you keep the, sorry, this is a hard sentence here. Even if you have those same sticks, subshing, even if you have the same sticks, you have to keep rubbing them until you get the fire. All right, which I think is pretty cool. So first thing is, like, you have to have your meditation object, but oh my God, please keep meditating day in and day out, or you're not going to get the fire that you need. Right? And that comes from, the shamatha, and you eventually get the shine, which is the mental pliancy, where your body and mind feel really, really good. All right. And you need to keep up your meditation sessions. All right. You need to keep them up when you're doing this. So, like, So you might have to stop your meditation, right? When are you going to have to stop your meditation? Well, for lots of things. What are the examples he gives? Sleeping, eating, pooping, peeing. Now you know some fun words in Tibetan. Okay. Shang-chi, pooping, and the very polite way to be like, going to the toilet, right? All right. You're going to have to do some of those things, right? But you have to keep the flow, right? Mache, I think the mache is what I just like to make sure I have this right. Yeah, mache means unbroken. You have to keep the flow as best as you can in meditation. All right. And he's basically saying whether it takes a year or it takes 6 moons. What does that mean? 6 moons? Druk is 6, Dawa is moon. Six months, that's correct. 6 moons, right? Whatever it takes, whatever it may be, do not cut your meditation, the stream, yun, michupa. Now, this doesn't mean you have to meditate 24 hours a day. Okay. What it means is consistent practice. Same time every day, same space. You create that habit over and over and over again, you know. But please don't interrupt your meditation session because you have to go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom beforehand, right? Get enough sleep, eat enough food, or don't eat enough food, right? Don't eat too much because it'll put you to sleep, right? You don't want those things to interrupt your meditation session. When your meditation session is over, then go poop, okay? But seriously, like, you know, we want to keep the flow. You want to keep the flow of, you know, habituating yourself to these virtuous objects. All right. So that's where we're going to stop today. Stopped on, what's today, 13? Okay, cool. What is going on here? I will do that later. All right, cool. Thank you all very much for joining. It's June 12th in your part of the world, Maria Belen. It is now June 13th in my part of the world. Okay. Thank you all for joining. Thanks. I really love that people keep coming to this class. This class is so much fun for me. I very much enjoy this. Thank you for being here. And we'll see you next week for the continuation of the text. All right, let's say goodbye to each other. Have a wonderful day or night or morning.
Gracias,
you,
Tim.
Tim Lam.
Cuídate.
See
Sigue
you soon.
estudiando.
Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you, Tim.
谢谢老师，
Thank
谢谢
you, teacher.
Tim，
谢谢
Thank
天老
you,
师，
Tim.
谢谢 Sharon。
拜拜。谢谢
What's the
Sharon。
main theme? Please stay.
Ciao. Good night.
Thank you. Bye,
Good
Tim.
night.
拜拜。拜拜。
Hope to see you soon.
Me too. Love.